When actors sign on to a fantasy film, especially one with a lot of candies and gags, the last thing they would expect is to walk out injured for a lifetime. Here's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, who got lifelong disabilities from filming. Make sure to stick around until the end, because the last one might shock you. Subscribe to the channel if you like videos exploring the dark side of the film industry. Julie Dawn Cole. Julie Dawn Cole was just 13 when she brought the unforgettable Veruca Salt to life in the 1971 classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Her performance was loud, demanding, and iconic. However, so was the accident that permanently altered her body. During the filming of the famous "I Want It Now" musical number, Julie was required to storm, spin, and climb across the Golden Egg Room set. However, the environment was full of heavy props, uneven platforms, and just some areas that seemed like they weren't even designed for kids, and little was in the way of modern child actor safety standards. While climbing onto one of the raised platforms, Julie slipped and fell onto her knee. In the 2014 interview, she even admitted she was in agony, but she didn't want to stop filming. She was having too much fun being Veruca. That is the level of dedication that the actress had, but the passion came with a cost that she will never forget. That ligament never healed properly, and as Julie grew older, the pain and the damage led to chronic knee pain, reducing mobility, and even inflammation that would come again and again. By 2016, she even confirmed that she required regular physical therapy and occasionally relied on a cane to walk, which is an ironic fate for a character who demanded everything instantly. The film's $3 million budget meant that safety would be minimal. Julie's injuries were brushed aside as part of filming, but the effect followed her and still follows her for the rest of her life. The Oompa Loompas. And now we move on to the 1,971 Oompa Loompas, who were the film's main sparkle. They had orange skin, green hair, and a synchronized dance routine that became a cinematic legend. However, behind the scenes, those cheerful factory workers were suffering in real life and in the movie. The makeup wasn't just uncomfortable, it was chemically harsh on the skin. One of the Oompa Loompa actors later revealed that heavy dyes caused severe skin irritation across multiple performers. This makeup was applied for months, and the makeup burned, blistered, and even inflamed their skin. He even said they would spend hours in the makeup chair, and it burned. In one of the 2021 interviews, he said that he still gets rashes when he's stressed. Rusty developed something called chronic contact dermatitis, a condition that never fully went away. But if you thought that his Oompa Loompa suffering ended there, it didn't. The film was shot in Munich under cold, damp conditions, with studio temperatures sometimes dropping to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. So when we add in painted skin, tight costumes, and constant dancing on hard concrete floors, these types of results are inevitable. Another Oompa Loompa actor named Malcolm Dixon later developed chronic knee and hip pain, which progressed into arthritis. He linked the condition to repetitive choreography and the lack of proper safety measures during filming. Production notes from 1,971 even confirmed that multiple actors required medical attention for overuse-related injuries, but the film's limited box office returns left only a slight margin for long-term care. And then there was none other than Willy Wonka himself, Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder's portrayal of Willy Wonka is one of the most celebrated performances in the entire film industry. His unpredictable character, especially during his time as Willy Wonka, is something that all the kids of that time remembered. His iconic limping entrance, followed by a sudden somersault, is legendary, but that exact somersault nearly ended his career. Gene insisted on performing the stunt himself and would not let anyone else take over. But during one of the takes, he landed awkwardly on his neck, causing a spinal injury that would haunt him for decades. In one of the later interviews, Gene even revealed that he felt a pop in his neck, and it never stopped hurting. This injury led to chronic back pain and neck pain, which worsened as he aged. By the time he was living in 2000, Gene even reported that he would need to rely on a back brace, and the injury limited his ability to take on other physically demanding roles. However, the danger did not stop. The Wonka Vader scene required Gene and the cast to be suspended on a wire while being inside a glass elevator set. During one of the takes, The raging malfunction nearly sent Gene crashing into a prop wall head first. Even though the issue was fixed, the strain that he went through made his spinal injury even worse. This might have made generations laugh, and yet he carried the pain that even generations wouldn't be able to heal. Anna Sophia Robb. Moving back to 2005, when Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory promised one of the most visually pleasing factories, it delivered. But for Anna Sophia Robb, that experience left a lasting mark on her body. She was just 11 when she played Violet in the movie. The famous blueberry inflation scene required her to wear a 20-plus-pound inflatable suit wired to a pump system that was designed to expand her body on cue. But during one of the takes, the suit started malfunctioning, overinflating, and putting intense pressure on her spine and her chest. In the 2006 interview, she said that she felt like she was being crushed and couldn't even breathe properly, even though that incident only caused a minor spinal misalignment. It later turned into chronic back pain that she still manages with chiropractic care today. And this was not the end. The Chocolate River set filled with 192,000 gallons of cold, slippery chocolate substitute proved quite dangerous for her. Anna Sophia slipped during rehearsal, twisting her ankle. It wasn't immediately severe. She later admitted that her ankle still stiffens in cold water whenever it happens. The film grossed over $475 million, but the physical cost that some of these young actors had to pay was just absurd. Deep Roy. Next is the 2005 version of Oompa Loompa. Deep Roy was the person who played every single Oompa Loompa over 165 individual performances, which is quite impressive for this role. This meant that he had to do endless repetitions of the same dance routine, stunts, and movements, often under hot studio lighting and, costumes that were not the most comfortable. By the end of filming, he developed chronic shoulder and knee pain. In 2007, he even required rotator cuff surgery. Years later, he admitted he could not fully lift his right arm. One of the worst incidents occurred during the Oompa Loompa board scene when Deep slipped and slammed into the board's edges, bruising his ribs. That injury developed into chronic chest pain that flares up during any physical exertion, even to this date. Fans may joke that Deep Roy is the Oompa Loompas, but the dedication that he had came at such a heavy burden that no one was expecting. Compared to many other Oompa Loompa actors, this injury is quite serious. We wish the best of luck to the actor himself, Freddie Highmore. Next up is one of the most painful cases in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because even the gentle hearts of the film weren't spared. During the fizzy-lifting drink scene, Freddie Highmore, who was also the main character of the movie, was suspended in a harness for hours to simulate floating. The harness was dug into his lower back repeatedly across 15 takes. In a 2006 interview, he said it was like wearing a corset for hours. The strain caused mild scoliosis, a spinal condition that he still manages through physical exercises to this date. That's painful and something that shouldn't be happening. In the end, he was paid approximately $150,000 for the role, but no amount of money could spare a lifelong physical condition, just like what Freddie went through. Now, mind you, this is the child actor who carried the movie, and the whole movie was surrounded by him. If he is the one who is getting hurt, that raises a lot of safety questions for the other actors. However, he still didn't give up to his injuries, but rather went on to do many other movies and even participated in TV shows. Denise Nickerson. Moving back to the 1971 film, Denise Nickerson will forever be remembered as Violet, the gum-chewing, confidence-filled kid who turned into a blueberry in the movie. But behind one of the film's most colorful characters was a frightening on-set accident that left even the producers in shock. This was so painful that it's something that she hasn't recovered from. It happened during the infamous Wonka water boat tunnel scene, which is one of the darkest and most chaotic moments in the film. The set was cramped, there was barely any light, and it was filled with mechanical props mounted on the track. During one take, the boat lurched forward unexpectedly, pinning Denise's foot against a metal rail. This seems like it's not that big of a deal, but it really was in her case. She screamed in pain, but tragically, the crew thought she was acting or joking. When filming stopped, the damage was already done. Denise suffered a hairline fracture in her ankle, which is an injury that was downplayed at the time of production so that they could continue. Like many other child actors in the early 1970s, she was expected to walk it off, but her injury never truly healed. In one of the later interviews, Denise even revealed that she felt chronic ankle pain for the rest of her life. The pain flared during her long walks, in cold weather, and even when doing simple daily activities. What could have been a childhood acting memory became one of the painful experiences for the actor. The boat scene itself was quite dangerous because the unstable movement injured many actors and even caused repetitive strain injuries amongst the crew members who were operating the mechanical controls. Safety concerns were largely ignored, and Denise Nickerson passed away in 2019, but her story still stands as a sobering reminder that behind Hollywood's most magical moments, there are risks involved that we don't see in our everyday lives. The dark truth. What exactly went wrong with both Willy Wonka films? Firstly, these are beloved cultural landmarks, but their legacy includes something that is rarely discussed: child actors getting hurt, performances getting lifelong injuries, and safety limits being almost non-existent. These films help shape modern conversation about on-set safety, especially for children. Today, many practices that cause these injuries would be unacceptable. Even the new Wonka movie didn't have these problems. However, for the actors of that time, the damage was already done. So which injury hit you the hardest? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more dark behind-the-scenes Hollywood stories that Hollywood doesn't talk about, subscribe and stay curious with us.